Today I cleaned my room, and that sounds so simple, so normal, like the kind of thing someone says when they've had a productive afternoon. But for me, it was more than that. I didn't wake up feeling motivated. There was no sudden burst of energy or magical playlist. I just looked around and thought, I can't live like this anymore. My room wasn't a disaster, just quietly heavy. Clothes on the chair, cups on the nightstand, a few things I told myself I'd put away later weeks ago. It's the kind of mess that slowly builds up when you've been surviving, not thriving. When you keep saying, I'll deal with it tomorrow, but tomorrow never feels lighter. So I stood there, blanket still wrapped around my shoulders, looking at everything. It felt overwhelming at first, like I was staring at a reflection of my brain. But I started with the smallest thing I could handle, one mug. Just one. I took it to the kitchen, came back, picked up a sock, then another. And suddenly the floor was a little cleaner. It wasn't fast, it wasn't aesthetic. There was no time lapses or productivity montages. Just me in silence, trying to feel like I had some control over the space I live in. Trying to convince myself that maybe, just maybe, cleaning my room could help clear a little space inside my head too. Because it's never just a mess, is it? It's the energy, the overwhelm, the invisible weight that turns a pile of clothes into a mountain. But today, I started climbing it. As I kept picking things up, slowly, quietly, something started to hit me. This mess, it wasn't about laziness. It was about everything I hadn't said out loud. The laundry on the floor? That was the week I couldn't stop crying. The empty takeout boxes? The nights I told myself, just eat something, anything. The pile of unopened mail? Avoiding one more reminder that life keeps moving even when I can't. Every item had a feeling attached, not always dramatic, but real. A hoodie on the floor I wore 3 days in a row because I didn't have the energy to choose something else. A coffee mug with dried milk, cold, crusted guilt. The trash I kept walking past pretended it didn't bother me until it did. This wasn't just clutter, it was a map of my emotional backlog. And I didn't even notice how bad it'd gotten until I started paying attention. Because sometimes when you're deep in it, when you're just trying to get through the day, you stop noticing the physical space around you. Or maybe you notice, but it mirrors how you feel inside, and you don't know where to begin. I wasn't avoiding cleaning, I was avoiding feeling. Because cleaning meant nothing, and noticing meant facing all the little ways I've been falling apart. But today I faced it. Item by item, bag by bag. I didn't fix everything, but I stopped pretending it didn't matter. And weirdly, that felt like progress. I didn't set a timer, I didn't make a checklist, I just kept moving. Folded a shirt, then another, laid them in neat little piles like they mattered, like I mattered. Each drawer I organized felt like a tiny declaration. I'm still trying, I'm still here. I swept the floor, nothing fancy, just a quick once-over, but when I looked up, the space felt lighter. Not perfect, not Instagram worthy, but mine. I wiped down the nightstand, tossed out 3 empty bottles of water. Why was I keeping those? I don't know. Maybe they felt like they were holding something I didn't want to let go of. And the chair. My infamous clothes chair, I cleared it off, folded, hung up, or finally tossed what needed to go. And for the first time in what felt like weeks, I sat on it. That chair had become a symbol of chaos. Now it was just a chair again, a place to sit, to breathe. And the floor, once scattered and overwhelming, was suddenly visible, like I'd opened a physical room and mental room at the same time. It wasn't about cleaning anymore, it was about reclaiming something. A sense of peace, a tiny, quiet control. I didn't blast music or dance around in celebration. I just paused, sat down and took in the space. For the first time in a while, my room looked like someone cared about it. And even if I didn't fully feel it yet, that someone was me, and that's a start. It was quiet by then, not peaceful quiet, the kind of quiet that makes you think a little too much. I sat on the bed and looked around. Clean floor, folded clothes, room reset. But in the corners, that's where the sadness lingered. Not because the space was still messy, but because the weight that made it messy hadn't fully left. I found an old sock that belonged to someone I don't talk to anymore. A note I wrote myself months ago hoping I'd be in a better place by now. An empty candle that once brought me comfort when I cried through the night. Cleaning had stirred up more than dust. It stirred up memories. Moments I tried to push down beneath piles of laundry and stacks of unopened mail. That's the one thing no one tells you about tidying up. Sometimes you find your feelings in the corners, folded between old receipts and under your bed. And today I let myself feel them. I didn't rush to tidy those away. I just sat with them. Let the tears come quietly if they needed to. It's strange. How can you do something productive and still feel emotionally tender? How can you clear a space and still feel a little lost inside it? But I think that's okay, because healing doesn't look like sunshine and perfect shelves. Sometimes it looks like crying next to a laundry basket. Sometimes it looks like picking up something small and deciding it's time to let go. And today I let go of a few things. Not all of them, not yet, but enough. By the end of it, the room looked fine. Not magazine ready, but clean. Still. The bed was made, the floor was clear, the soft light from my lamp made everything feel kind of gentle. But inside, it still felt heavy. Not bad, not broken, just tired. Like my emotions had been folded up along with the laundry, organized but still there. And I think that's something we don't talk about enough. That even when we do the thing, clean the space, drink the water, take the shower, we don't always feel instantly better, and that's okay. Today wasn't about achieving peace. It was about creating a little room for it. One sock at a time, one cleared corner, one deep breath. When I sat down at the end and looked around, I didn't feel proud, exactly. I felt relieved, like I could finally exhale, like the mess wasn't screaming at me anymore. And even though the sadness was still quietly sitting next to me, it felt like it had softened, like maybe it too had a little more room to breathe. So yes, today I cleaned my room, and no, it didn't fix everything, but it helped me take one small step back toward myself. And sometimes that's the most healing thing we can do. If you're listening to this and your room is too messy, you're not a failure, you're just carrying a lot. And when you're ready, even if it's just one mug, that first step counts. And I'll be right here proud of you, even for that. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this, then make sure you check out my Patreon where I post ahead of time. All your support helps me become a better creator, and I would really appreciate it if you subscribe to me here and on my Patreon. Thank you so much. Bye!